Hey, what's up guys, welcome to part 3 of the tessellation series. In this video I'm going to use the second method, that is the reflection method of creating these tessellations, and I'm going to use a square polygon for that purpose. So I'll just start by creating a new document and I'm going to make it a square format. That's very important. DPI should be 300, and if you want you can make it into an artboard or not depending upon your requirement, and then choose the color format as you see fit. Then press create. The first thing, again we are going to create a square shape here and just make it 300 by 300, the same size that we did in the part 2 of the series. I'm going to use the same size for the document and this square. Now if you want to know why I have selected these sizes, I have already discussed in the previous video, so make sure that you watch that video. So our first square is ready. Now we need to convert it into a symbol, but before that we do that, let me just make a copy of this one by pressing Ctrl J, because we will need it later on. So I'm just going to place it here on the side outside the artboard and work on this one. So this is our basic square shape. I'm just going to go into the symbols and press create to convert it into a symbol. Then I'm going to go inside that symbol and I'm going to label the sides here just to help me understand, when I'm just moving around this sphere, help me just orient it properly. So I'm just going to, let's say, put this artistic text tool and maybe make this side E, and let's scale it up a bit. Let's just maybe make this side R, because we'll be able to make it much easily readable when we change the orientation of our copies. So this side is R, press Ctrl J to copy it, and let's say make this side to be, let's make it maybe F. So we have two sides, R and F, and now I am going to select this symbol, this sphere symbol, in the layers panel and press Ctrl J. Now if you remember from the part 1 of this series, in this reflection method what we usually do is that we slide one side, cut out, maybe if we cut out a part from this F side, slide it on the other side, on the opposite side, and then flip it vertically. Similarly, if we cut out a part from this horizontal line here, this R side, we slide it on the opposite side and then flip it horizontally. So I'm just going to slide it here, and as soon as it snaps I'm going to leave it, and now I'm going to flip it vertically using this top button, flip vertical. And now you can see that F has this direction facing this word, and when I have flipped it vertically it is now upside down F. So these R and F, these symbols or these letters are going to help us identify the correct orientation of our square shapes. Then I'm going to select this center one again, press Ctrl J to copy it, and now I'm going to slide it downwards. So as soon as it snaps I'm going to leave it here like that, and then I'm going to flip it horizontally. Well, now I'm going to select this one again, press Ctrl J to copy it, and then slide it on this direction here. And as you can see that when we slide horizontally we flip it vertically like that. And then I'm going to select the center one again, press Ctrl J to copy it, and then slide it upward, and then flip it horizontally like that. So now our basic arrangement is ready. Now we do not need these letters anymore, so I'm just going to hide these. I'm going to select that rectangle or the square shape here, and I'm going to just convert it into curves. Now I'm going to remove any of these corner points. So before I do that, I need to just make sure that I have these corner points just easily labeled, easily identified here, because we do not want to mess these corner points once we start creating our shape. So I'm just going to make sure that create a circle here, place it here, and then create a copy of this one and move this circle in this corner point. Select both of these, press Ctrl J, and then move them down here like that. And then we can select all of these circles, 4 circles, group them together and bring them behind everything like that, and then just lock them so that we do not actually move. So these circles are just going to help us identify the corner points because we do not want to move those areas. Then I'm going to select this curve shape here, and then I'm going to delete any of these corner points. So it does not matter which corner points you delete, you need to just remove the 2 adjacent sides, any of the 2 adjacent sides. So let's say I'm just going to maybe select this point here. At the top I'm going to use this option break curve, and then I'm going to move this line here and delete it. Select that point again, move it on the side and then delete it. Now we have our basic center sphere ready, which we can easily modify. So I'm going to select that curve again and start adding points by using this node tool, white arrow tool or node tool. Click on any area on the line, it will add a point here or a corner point here, and then you can move that corner point independently. So in this way you will be able to create the shape that you want, and the shape that I'm looking for is kind of like a head shape of maybe a reptile or a dinosaur. So something like that. That is something that I have in my mind, and that is something I want to create here. So this looks better. Maybe make this mouth a little bit smaller and bring this one down here, like that. And so the second rule that I discussed in the previous video, that is the part 2 of this series, is that we do not want to cross these lines. So I cannot move this point like that as it crosses the other line. So make sure that you follow that rule while moving these points. So I do not want to create anything too complex here at this moment, and this seems fine. So this looks like a head. It can be turned into a head of a dog or a dinosaur or reptile. So anything can be possible here. So when you start seeing the shape that you want in your illustration or this tessellation, you can stop at that point, and then you can convert these corner points or the corner node areas into smooth lines. So I'm pretty happy with how it's looking at this moment, and maybe make this one down here like that, and bring this one something like that. So I want to just move these points at those optimal locations where I do not have to move them too much again, and I'm easily I can easily create the shape that I want. So guys, I really like it. I might just leave it like that here, and then I'm going to convert these points into a smooth point. So maybe this point, and at the top I am going to use this option next to this convert. We have these 3 options: convert to smooth, and it will help us create these smooth lines. Maybe convert this one into a smooth line like that, and maybe just make an eye area here, so something like that. And then I'm going to convert this one into a smooth line as well, and see how it looks. I'm going to convert this point into a smooth point and just make it into curve shape like that. I might not need this point here. Let's see if we can convert this one into a smooth one. Adjust its position. Definitely convert this one, and then simply I think I would need to remove this one, and I would not need this one as well. I can add it later on. Alright, now I'm just going to create it like that. I will definitely need this one, a point here, because if I do not, it will just cross this line, which is not recommended. So maybe something like that. And I'm just looking at the other side here, what kind of shape I'm getting on this opposite side. So that's very important. Alright, now I definitely need to convert this one into a smooth point. So to me this is looking like a kind of a head of a dinosaur, or maybe I can make it look like a head of a crocodile. So this is something that I'm seeing here at this moment in this shape. I definitely need to convert this point into smooth one, because I want to just make sure that this area looks smooth. Alright, that looks fine, and I would definitely now finish this one by extracting this shape from this whole mess of lines. And for that we need to ungroup or detach these symbols. But before I do that, I would just make sure that I remove these reference letters R and F, because we do not need them anymore. So I'm just going to delete them, select all the symbols here, and then in the symbols panel I'm going to select detach. It will convert them into groups. I can just right click and choose this option and group all, and now I can just simply remove the unnecessary lines. So if I select this one, I can just simply remove it because I do not need it. Same is the case with this one. Actually this one here I do not need it, and I need half of this one and half of this one. So I'm going to use this node tool, select these points that I do not need and press delete to delete it. Same is the case with this line, select the points that I do not need and then press delete. And now we have our basic shape ready. Now it totally depends upon you how you want to create details in it. I'm just going to hide these reference lines here. So I can just create a mouth here on this side, put an eye here, maybe create some kind of element here, kind of like an alien shape, or I can just maybe put a mouth here and eye on this location, and something like that. So that totally depends upon you what kind of shape you get. And in the next step I'm going to join these curves. So in the layers panel you can see that I have 3 different lines separate, which we do not want. We need them to be a single curve. So I'm going to select 2 of these, use this node tool, white arrow tool, select the corner points where they are touching, and then at the top use this option join curves. Do not use this option close curve, instead use this option called join curve, and you can move this around to see if it is joined or not. Anyway, then I'm going to select the other curve shape here, select that point, the corner point, and just choose this option again, join curve, and lastly top point here, choose this option again, join curves, and now all of your shape is joined into a single curve. Now I can just easily use this to create a shape and add more details, and it is going to maybe probably consume most of your time, because that has you need to make sure that your design looks good. So I'm just going to make sure that it has a thickness, and then I'm going to add certain details here and speed up that process for you. Now you can keep this illustration simple like that, or you can add more details as you see fit. And this whole thing looks kind of like flat to me, so I'll add more details here. So guys, I have just finished adding the details and the colors. I might add few details here around the eye areas, and maybe some shadows around these teeth, or maybe at the back, but as you can see that it's going to take a lot of time. So in order to make this tutorial short, I'm just going to finish with this one and filling the rest of the document with these shapes. And for that purpose, I'm going to use this sphere shape that we have already created at the start. Just align it at the center here, and then I'm going to make sure that I clip these two shapes, the basic shape and the details here, inside that sphere. And then I'm just going to do the same process that I did at the start. So I'm just going to first convert it into a symbol, so that if you need to change the details, you can easily change in all of our shapes. and then I'm going to press Ctrl J to copy it, flip it horizontally like that. And then, as you can remember from the start, when we slide it horizontally, next thing we do is just flip it vertically like that. Same thing I'm going to do with this center one again. Press Ctrl J to copy it and slide it on the left and flip it vertically like that. Then I can start with this center shape again, and then press Ctrl J to copy it and slide it here like that. And again select the center one, press Ctrl J to copy it and slide it here on the opposite side. Now what happens, you can see that if I just bring the shapes out of that rectangle detail, you can see that I have this shape that looks like the same color, and which I usually do not like. So in order to make it slightly different, what I would normally do is that select the alternating one, this one, maybe this one, and then I'm going to first detach it. It is not really necessary, but it just makes your patterns look kind of like more interesting. Just detach it, and then after it is detached, you can change its color. Let me just bring it outside here so that I can easily see the color. So I am going to give this one a slightly different color. Then I'm going to select these detailed color ones that I have previously created in this first symbol and give it, color according to that. Now I'm going to select that group, this new colored one, put the symbols and create a new symbol with this one. Now I can just bring these one inside that square and just copy this symbol by pressing Ctrl J and simply sliding it at this location. Now if it snaps, that good, but if it does not snap, all you have to do is just simply put -600 in the x direction. Just put -6 in there and it will just align it perfectly at this location. Now what we need is to fill the rest of the document with these shapes, and I would normally do is select all of this row, press Ctrl J to copy them and then flip it vertically, actually align it here at the vertically. But as you can see that it will not align perfectly because of this reflection. So I'm just going to move them slightly down here, and as soon as it snaps, I'm going to leave it. Now we need to adjust the orientation of these vertical ones that we created, this vertical row. And for that purpose, let's just go inside any symbol and let's see how how it looks when we bring the details out like that. Let's just bring the details out of these green ones to see what kind of orientation we need. So we can see that what we need to do is to just flip them horizontally, these ones, and that will most probably fix it. So let me just bring the details inside of these squares back like that. And so we need to select that symbol, top row one, and then simply flip it horizontally and then flip it vertically. Let's just bring it outside and see if the orientation is right. So select the design elements and you can see that it is now perfect there. Then do the same thing again with this one, flip it horizontally and then flip it vertically. Do the same thing with this one, flip it horizontally and flip it vertically. This one again, flip it horizontally and flip it vertically. And then you can select this row, this element at this here, and then press Ctrl G to copy it and then move it on the other side by adding 1200 in the x-axis like that. Now that we have two of the rows that are perfectly fitting together, we can select all of these, press Ctrl J to copy them and maybe move them, slide them down. It should snap here, but if it does not snap, what you can do is just add 600 to the down y-axis, and let's see if that works. So adding 600, now it fits perfectly in this location. Now what I can do is just select this row, the bottom one that is cutting the lower part of our document size or the artboard, press Ctrl J to copy it, and then subtract 1200 from y-axis to bring it at the top in this location. Now see what happens. Now if I just bring this green one, the details outside that rectangle, it fills that area, and if I bring this orangish one outside that rectangle, it fills the rest of the document, and we can just simply hide these rectangles. We do not need those. And now you can see that our design or the element fits this whole area perfectly, and this is how you can easily create a reflected tessellation using this method. Now of course I'm going to add more details in this element or the design to give it some kind of unique look and more interesting features, and make it look much better. And but this is the basic thread. So this is how you can easily create these kind of patterns and tessellations inside Affinity Designer. So guys, if you have found this video to be helpful and useful, make sure that you like the video, and let me know in the comments below what do you think about this, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video, and thank you for watching.